Hey Terrence, I do. It's V. All right. So I just attracted well, let me say they were already here, but I asked six agents to be on my team. Okay. And so I'm trying to scale up because I got to get that freedom back because I've been coaching and mentoring and speaking now. So I have not been able to really touch my clientele unless they're listings. So in that, what are some real key first steps to launching this team?
Yep. So I think Cheryl and I talked about it on one call, and and then me and Shelly Ann talked about it. But it's obviously a conversation that we need to keep having. So what we got to do is, if you're gonna lead a team, you got to remember this. This is so important. So I'm gonna wait. V, you got your pen and pad?
Always, I got it right now.
So obviously this is recorded. So everybody should make sure you join the Facebook group, because these videos are on there too. Remember, that's why I want to slow down, because we could easily add 100 people on this call, but that's not adding value to y'all. So I want to slow down and make sure that the people that are on the call, the people that are part of my family, and there's some people that have paid to be a part of the course that aren't in our organization, and that's fine. But we want to just slow down. So what we need to think about from a team lead standpoint is, what is my value proposition? What is my value proposition? Do I have deal flow coming in? That means I got listings, I got buyers coming in, I got sellers coming in automatically. That means I'm rainmaking. We call it rainmaking. Am I rainmaking? That means I got in 50 leads, 25 leads, 100 leads a week. Because remember, y'all, the moment you bring someone into your organization, you're responsible for them. It's like having a baby, literally. Now, no, I don't say that disrespectfully to the parents, because I am a parent. But the moment you bring someone in, you're responsible for them to make sure that they can eat. So that's what rainmaking is. Like, I can't bring in Henry and then he gets on my team. I sold him this vision and then he hasn't seen a lead for the first 3 months. So what are you doing to rainmake? And that's why I'm telling y'all, if you skip my steps, you will crash and burn. Trust me. You will have to go back to step one. That's why I'm doing level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I really want to make sure that level 1, you do everything on level 1, because what we're doing on level 1 is we're putting blocks on the foundation. So that being said, is you got to be bringing in the leads. Once we know the leads are coming in, and they need to be coming from different sources. That's why I'm dropping on level 2 or 3. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm all in circles on this course, but there's a 50 lead generation process. So I'm literally working on, I think we've only executed about 15. I got another 35 lead gen processes that are going to be rolled out for my team. And y'all are going to have access to it. So what is my leads? Okay. Then do I have a brand that is noteworthy in the market, that where people can get behind the brand and it opens doors for them? That means if you can say, I'm a part of Valencia's team, I'm a part of Crystal's team, I'm a part of TM5, the TM5 walks people in the door. Case in point, remember we talk about stats, facts, and stories. Jabari just got to College Station. Never been here in his life other than playing here and then coming to see me. He moved his family here. He's on my team. He made his first week of calls the week he joined the team. He picked up a $700,000, $800,000 listing because he converted them. Keyword, he knew his scripts. But when he said he was on the TM5 team, they invited him over. Boom. So that brand walked him in the door on an $800,000 listing 1 week into the industry in College Station. So that's a story. And so what is your brand? Does your brand have those kind of stories? And that's what we got to be thinking about. How do we build that out? Everything is a strategic move. And that's why this is a masterclass. I even told that I was talking to Erica and Amber, and I was like, as much as I would love to condense the course like this Tony Robbins dude was doing, the one thing I've learned about these experts in the industry, they don't know everything. So it's like, no, I'm going to do it the way it needs to be done, right? Because think about it. Anything with a B on it, a billion, whether you guys become billionaires one day, whether you sell $1 billion in real estate, whether you own $1 billion in real estate, whether you have $1 billion in whatever, if you do anything with a B on it, That ain't easy. And so that's why I was like talking about, if I'm talking about $1 billion real estate agent and $1 billion real estate investor, that shit's not going to happen in like 2 modules. Yes, it's like we got to walk this thing out. So back to the team. The next thing is, do you have processes in place that are repeatable? Do you have processes in place that are repeatable? And are you following them? Because I've seen some people build out team processes, but they're so complicated and they're so long that they don't even follow them. They got 50 million spreadsheets, 100 million checklists, and they don't follow them. But I started building out these processes with Shannon back in the day, now Rael, and that's the reason that my transactions can go on a team, because Rael and Shannon are machines with these checklists. Then the next thing is, what is your niche? What is your niche as a team leader? Is it luxury? Is it investments? Is it commercial? Is it multifamily? Is it selling strip centers? Is it selling farm and ranch? Is it working with first-time home buyers? Is it being a listing team first? Like, you as a team leader, what is your niche? Once you build out a niche, then people will follow you because it's like, well, I want to be on your team and your brand because it's a luxury brand. And that's where you see people niche out. Then the next thing, can someone join your organization and achieve everything within their desired dreams and never feel the need to leave? That just means, can I create an ecosystem big enough? Can I create a vision big enough? Can I create a environment big enough to where you guys can join me and achieve everything you want to achieve and never feel the need to leave? That's the question you got to ask yourself when you get ready to lead people. Because remember, like I said, it's a responsibility. You have them, you have their families, you have their livelihood in your hands. And that's the reason why people were rushing me into building out these courses. And I can't do it because I know me. I want to do it right because you guys are trusting me to follow this roadmap. And I want you to get to, I know it works. I've done it for 10, 12 years, but now I want to make sure it's like every detail is there. But think about it. If you don't grow an ecosystem big enough and you bring me in, a young Terrence, and you see that I have some talent, you know that I'm hungry, but you got to give me a world big enough, because if not, I'm going to outgrow you. I'm going to outgrow you mentally. I'm going to outgrow you in achievement, and I'm going to outgrow you in my wants. So as y'all are leading these people on the team, keep growing them. All right. Next thing, what do you bring to the table individually? Are you an innovative person? Are you really good with technology? Like, whatever it is that you do, that you double down on. Like I told y'all, I know people have grown teams and they're terrible real estate agents. Terrible. But they're really good with YouTube, or they're really good with creating leads and having, you know what I mean? And they just grow these mega teams and they don't sell any real estate. But then I know people that are really good agents who are amazing converters, amazing at selling real estate, love to build relationships, but they can't build processes. So when they bring people on their team, it's a shit show. All right, last couple of things about the team questions. When you're thinking through your team, also think about talent. You got to be able to attract talent, because you will not go any further than the talent that you can attract. And that's where the Nick Sabans of the world and the Bill Belichick's in football, they just, and the Coach K's in basketball, they attract great talent. Next one, you can attract the talent, but you already know what's coming next. I have to do what? Anybody want to guess? I got to grow them. I got to help them evolve. I got to coach them. I got to get them into maturity. I got to really help them scale, and I got to take that talent and make them better from when they came in. So what is your training process? Are you training people? Are you attracting great talent and then you saying, here's my systems, figure it out? And that's why I'm telling y'all, like, at the end of the day, I smile when I look at people on Instagram posting all this stuff, and I smile when they think that's all they need to grow a business. Because I've talked to agents, y'all. I got to remember, I've been in this game a hot minute now, 12, 13 years. And I've traveled the world. And it's like, I'm telling you, you put me on the phone with an agent or you let me look at their feed and I can study them, I know if they got it or if they don't. And as the market pivots, all these people posting on social media and dancing on these TikTok videos are going to realize that that's not going to get them business. Not saying you can't dance on TikTok videos. I'm just saying that's what a lot of people, that's all they're doing. And they're going to realize that their business is not built on solid rock, it's built on sand. Because when the market pivots, remember, 20% of the agents do 80% of the business, 20-80 rule. But y'all got to realize it goes to 10-90 when the market pivots. So 10% of the agents are going to do 90% of the business. And then last thing, and then I'll get to you, Barry. The last thing is, what's your vision for the team? Because you got to have a vision that attracts people. It's like, okay, if I join Valencia's team, if I join Tam's team, if I join Angela's team, I can see myself here in 5 years. I can see myself here in 3 years. I can see myself here in 10 years. That's why I'm joining that team, because I know without a shadow of a doubt, by joining Terrence's team, I'm going to be where I need to be in 3 years or 5 years. Hell, I may be there in 6 months, but I know I won't be where I'm at today. I know without a shadow of a doubt, I won't be where I'm at. So hopefully V, that got you some. Jabari, you up, brother? And then V, are you good on that, or can I move on?
Yeah, I actually am. There's one thing that I'm gonna have to, I guess, I'll definitely scope that out on the beta part, and then maybe even drop a question for the next one for the repeatable processes. Because do you have like a team workflow process that you can post or something? Or do you guys have like a step-by-step?
It should be in the assets.
Oh, well, then I'm pretty sure they are. So I'll go and get those from beta.
No, it's not even in beta, V. You got a whole nother level of information in there. So beta was just like a short little thing. There's 20 assets in there. I think I even have the buyer and seller team process. Everything is in there.
Perfect. Okay.
You know, Takara done flew through the whole course. So
I know she did, because she was laying it out. I'm like, I saw her on the side over here, so I said, okay, I'll get them out of there, and then
they should be in the assets. Yeah, just go through your assets and make sure if you need help, just hit that support email that I think is support@REE or whatever.
Got it. I have everything. So everything you just laid out, I have all of that answered. So apparently I do have everything I need, including the lead flow and all that stuff. I'm just going to go into the assets and go grab those team processes, and then that'll complete the puzzle. And then I can start working these guys.
Yeah, it's time.
Okay.
And then the last thing is, here's my other thought. You got to decide what type of team you want. I'll end with that one.
Okay.
Some people want mega teams. A mega team is 25 agents or more.
I reached out to EXP. I did the self-organized.
Oh, not as far as that. I'm just talking.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking in general.
Okay, perfect. I'm listening.
Yeah, so not EXP. Yeah. So the mega team, I know they call it the mega icon team, but just a mega team is a 25 agent or more team. This is the research that I've studied the top teams in the world, from Keller Williams to Compass to Berkshire to Remax to whatever. 25 agents or more is a mega team. They call it like a subpar or sub-level team. It's kind of that 10 to 15 agents. And then for me, that's why you won't see this around anywhere. I call it the tactical team. And I think about, I can run a brokerage with 100 and some agents. I can run a big mega team with 30 agents, but I'm a tactical team person. So instead of me taking, for an Army reference, I can take a bunch of 18-year-old young men, throw them in boot camp for 2 weeks, and then throw them on the battlefield, and it's not going to be good because they're running all over the place. Or I could take a more seasoned people who have been battle tested and bring them in and train them really strong and heavy, and then I'll send in a Navy SEAL team of 7 to 10 people, and they're gonna win any war, anytime, anywhere. So tactical team, meaning that highly trained individuals that are full-time professionals only, and that have very, very strategic week-to-week KPIs, key performance indicators. And then my admin staff is highly, highly trained. So between the agents and the admin staff, there's a very, very highly trained, high-level conversations going on that tactical team, and that's the tactical team. So it's 7 to 10 people, give or take, that are on that team. And then last thing, then you got to decide when you do that, some people have listing specialists and some people have buyer specialists. That just means if I'm on this team, I can only go on listings. I can't do nothing else. I'm just that highly trained. All I do is listings. Then you have listing coordinators, transaction coordinators, ISAs, which is inside sales associates, and then buyer specialists. And there's so many more. Now, I took that model and turned it into a tactical team. But what I said is, I want listing coordinator. I run transaction coordinator. I want administrative assistants. And then I said, I'm going to have outside experts. So we got an expert team at Brevity that coaches us if we need anything. And then I started building it out that way. But I said, I want my agents to do buy and sell. I didn't want to just confine them to only buyers or sellers. So they can do both, because I want them to have that opportunity. And once again, now that's that, hey, can I grow within Terrence's ecosystem and not feel the need to lead? Well, if I'm a really good agent, I don't want to just work buyers or sellers. I want to be able to do both. So that was the one pivot I made, V.
I like that one better. It feels like you have more creative control and oversight over things that, where you don't have to necessarily be in the processes, but you can see the processes happening.
Yeah, because you have to move to a conductor. When you think about the will and the personality profiles, you have to move to the conductor role. That means you're orchestrating. You're hey, you move here. You're like the head coach. You got offensive coordinator, you got defensive coordinator. Hey guys, this is what we need to do this week. So you got to stay on the vision. Now, what happens is that then lies accountability, and some people are not great at accountability. Some people like Erica can't hold people accountable because she's too nice. That just doesn't work for her personality. So you got to know that. I'm not great at accountability because I expect people to do it the way I would have done it, which is terrible. Because I'm like, well, shit, it's simple to me. Just make it happen, right? So I have to find a buffer in between me and administrative staff and my team. Because if not, I'll end up running them over like a Mack truck because I'm just like, this is what I should have been done. What did we miss? And that's not good. So I try to find that balance. That's why I pull back from the team. I try to give them room to breathe. But then every once in a while, they got to put up with me.
Thank you. Okay, I got it. We can pivot now.
Yep. All right, Barry.
So kind of in that conversation, I have, if not full-time, but going to full-time agents in Arkansas still. And the thing that I think I'm struggling with the most is as I'm constantly still building out my sales side, I have those people. And when you're thinking about what you just went over, the thing that I struggle with is when we look at the DISC assessment that we talked about last week, my C is very low. And so when it comes to those processes, when it comes to like having those things in place, which I know you do have laid out, and I'm saying this out loud because I think it's going to help me. And I know you're probably going to hit on something we talked about before, but I also want to help someone else out. But what I'm getting is I'm getting frustrated a little bit because I don't feel like I've laid enough out for the people who I've brought on in Arkansas to help them be successful. So does that make sense? And I'm just trying to figure out like, what is the correct way that I can build out those systems without being too involved in like the ABCs? Cause that's when I get a little frustrated, and to be honest with you, I just don't do anything.
That's okay. Yeah. So what happens is, and this is what I've seen with a lot of people, so it's not like you're abnormal, is that I see two personality profiles when I'm coaching people. One, the person that obsesses over the processes. And that's all they do is work on processes, but then they make them to where they're not repeatable because it's so much information. It's just too much. And then the people who start on the processes and then when they don't feel like they're moving, they quit. And they're just like, you know what? I'm just going to go do something else. And that's almost like paralysis by analysis or procrastination. So now we're talking about your org. We're not talking about your team. So just being clear with everybody on the call. These are people that you have attracted to EXP, but they're in your organization. So me and Takar had this call probably months ago. And the first thing I told her is pull up the 50-point value proposition. There's so many things that EXP does, and there's so many things that TM5 is doing. So you guys as individuals, right? What can you leverage on the 50-point value proposition? And then you may want to make yours 52. Here's the two things that I'm going to put on top of TM5 and on top of EXP. Or I'm not adding anything on there. I'm just going to leverage what's already in place. So where you need to start is print it out and find the people in your organization and say, okay, number one, what is it? Are they accessing that? Are they leveraging that? Are they going and getting value from that? Well, if you can't even get them to go to number one, why do we need to talk about the other 49? So a lot of times you end up taking on that responsibility that is really theirs, and then it weighs on you. So you just need to have a conversation. Terrence, I haven't seen you at any of this. So maybe you don't understand the value of these things. So let's just get on a call for 30 minutes and walk through it. And how can I get you participating in this? How can I get you leveraging that? Because there's 80 hours a week of training going on. Like, that's why you see people that are just continual event goers. They just go to they're at every fucking real estate coaching event in the nation, but they don't come home and execute anything because they just want to go to the next event. They just want to go to the next thing because it makes them feel like they're doing something. Because what we're doing right now, y'all, I want to encourage y'all. What we're doing is called deep work. If you hadn't read that book, check it out. It was in our 52 books, but deep work. It takes deep work to slow down and do the hard stuff. Not only deep work, but heart work. And that's what y'all are doing by jumping on the course, because we can keep flying over the high level stuff, but we'll never build out a true business. And now is the time, y'all. The market hasn't totally turned yet, but we need to keep staying focused over the next 6 to 8 months. Trust me in this. If you didn't hear nothing I said today, and I know I've been doing a lot of talking, in the next 6 to 12 months, let's just keep grinding, but grinding on building out the systems and the processes and watching the course. Because when the market pivots, you'll be in a great place. Tell me, is that the book for this week, bro?
Yes, bro. The Lord speaketh.
Wow.
Bro, that's the book for this week. Is that not crazy?
Come on, man.
Man, if that don't say it right there.
If that ain't God, I don't know what is, bro.
We were literally talking about that in Clubhouse this morning.
Wow.
Bro, I got chills, Murph. I have look, they on there. That's crazy.
I was not in Clubhouse this morning. I truly can tell you I did not look at that book.
That man has no clue.
I have 550 books in my collection, and I said deep work, and that's the week that we're reading the book.
Man, that's crazy, Murph. We was all smiling like, you gotta be kidding.
Everyone better read it.
Yeah.
That's always God, though. He always dropped those breadcrumbs. And to me, when those little moments happen, those little spiritual moments, to me, that's him dropping a breadcrumb saying, you're on the right path. Keep going. Literally. Every time these little things like that happen, those little taps on the shoulder, or I feel like my spirit, or sometimes I feel like my mom's looking at me or looking down on me. I'm like, those are just those little moments where it's like, you on the right path. But now, guess what? You know, just like the story of it is here's where it gets tough for us. If the breadcrumbs are right here, boom, 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 then there's no faith needed. Think about if we had these kind of deep work moments where God every 5 minutes was tapping us on the shoulder, things were happening. Then we would just walk out our day every week like, oh, well, I'm good. But what happens is there's a breadcrumb, then there's a dead space. And that dead space is where we got to take action and we got to have faith. because there's going to be a week, months, years before you may see that next breadcrumb. But he's requiring you to take action and have faith to get to the next breadcrumb. So just keep going.
That's deep, Murph. That's deep.
Yep. All right, other questions?
Terrence, I have to leave right at like 9:54, I guess, for you guys. Yeah, 9:55. I just had a question about how you might suggest how important is it for a newer agent to get a niche, and how to go about doing that? Because I'm just kind of taking whoever comes my way in terms of like if somebody calls me out of my sphere, I just take them. But I don't have a specific, luxury or first, like I don't have, and how important is it and how to go about doing it?
Yeah, it takes a little bit of focus, a little bit of intentionality, and then it takes you working. See, right now, like you said, the one thing I've learned in life, even growing up in the hood, single mom, seeing a lot of terrible things. I remember I learned intentionality at an early age. And I remember seeing everybody doing the same thing. And I was like, I'm not moving like that. And I mean, my brother used to write me, my oldest brother used to write me from prison. And he would just send me a lot of wisdom. And I was young. And, when I was 5, our house got shot up. Like I was in the house. And those moments, you realize like life is fleeting, and you realize that if you want something, you have to be very intentional. So that's where I told y'all vision boards and speaking it. Like I used to just repeat stuff over and over and over, and I would just focus on it because, man, we can attract anything we want. What we got to realize is it's all about perspective for us. And you think about certain situations, like that's why if you see something that happens in life, somebody was on this side of the road and they saw it from that perspective, but I was over here and I saw it from that perspective. I'm saying all that to make this point. What we got to do is we got to put y'all's perspective on something that you can make intentional. Okay, so if I want luxury, I still remember in 14, I was talking to a dude and he said, whatever the effort that it takes on a $100,000 property to make $3,000 GCI is the same effort that it takes on $1 million property. Why not go after the $1 million property and make 30,000 GCI? And I remember I sat back in my seat like, so I went and studied. I'm like, okay, is there anything different about $1 million listing from a $100,000 listing? It's the same fundamentals. Now there's different parts within it, but it's all the same. So that being said, Cheryl, we got to decide, what is that intentionality? Do you want to go after luxury? Do you want to go after developers? And so you got to decide what that niche is, but it needs to be something that you're drawn to. It needs to be something that is a genuine, you're interested, right? Like if I say, you know what, the best things that are selling right now are car washes, and that's the biggest market. Well, as much as I want to be intentional to go get the inventory of car washes, if I'm not naturally gravitated towards it, I'm not going to level up. So it needs to be something that you want to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess I need help with knowing what I want. Because, I mean, like you said, I don't want to just chase the shiny objects or the trend so I got to figure that out. I guess I got to do some.
Well, here's what you do. Okay, you ready? You ready? I got you. You ready, Cheryl?
Yeah.
Okay, when Jesus saw Peter in the boat and he was talking to them when they came in and they were like, we're done for the day, long story short. And he said, well, no, you're not done. Cast your net again. He's like, no, man, we're done, bro. Like, we're done for the day. And he finally got them to cast their net. But what did he say? Cast it out and cast it wide.
Yep.
So what we need to do is we need to cast a wide net and pull in as many fish as possible. Then you pick through which ones you want. So go back and cast a wide net and just say, okay, because this is how my mind works. Anytime I get ready to focus in on a target, I think about that parable and I cast a wide net. So if I say, okay, as a residential agent, what's even possible.
Okay.
I can sell luxury. I can sell ultra luxury. Okay, so what's ultra luxury in my market in Massachusetts? Well, that's 7 million and up. All right, bet. So now let me study that. And then what's luxury? Bet. All right, then what's development? Bet. Then what's first-time home buyer? All right, cool. Then what's investment properties? Well, your investment properties may be different than our investment properties. But what you do is cast a wide net and see what's possible in your market as a sales transaction. And it may be car washes.
Okay. And then maybe.
Yep. And then double down on it.
Okay. I like that. So maybe try it first a little bit and then
study it first.
Study it first.
Cast a wide net and then study it first. And then in that studying of those different types of businesses or lead flows or opportunities to get listings, then you'll naturally have a gravitation towards one of them. You may look up in multifamily as the move. Like, you know what? Something about selling $50 to $150 million, 150 unit apartment complexes is just something I'm interested in. Great. Go that route.
Okay.
But cast a wide net first.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. All right, y'all. Don't be in here and be quiet. We got a couple more minutes. Make sure you ask your question.
So I honestly really needed this I don't know what you did, but it was kind of like a preach or sermon or whatever it is, but I really do appreciate it. So I'm actually struggling a little bit as far as like processes. And I think I'm gravitating towards the processes because I know it's something that, I need. And also from my background as well. So it's like I was going and I had like processes and MRC cards and, a structure. And then when I came and became a real estate agent, it's like kind of like fell apart. So now I'm trying to pick myself up and find these processes and structure that I'm so accustomed to. And I'm kind of like drowning a little bit. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah.
So I just need some guidance for real.
Yeah, bro. I got you, dog. Well, the first thing you got to do, and being a military guy, I always associate military and athletes have similar personalities. That's why I always tell people if I didn't make it in football, I wanted to be an Army Ranger. The point is, we yearn for consistency. We yearn for stability. We yearn for regiment. All those things is what we need. But when you go through a season where you don't have it, the word you got to focus on right now, DeAndre, is grace. You got to give yourself grace. Okay? Because what happened is you're in transition. And anytime you're in transition in life, there's going to be a season of wilderness where you feel like, man, I'm out here. I'm used to doing it this way. So the other thing you need to think about is building one brick at a time. Your one brick mentality. That's why if you go on, and I'm not just making this up, this is truly what I'm living by. Anything I tell y'all, I'm not just out here regurgitating shit. Like this is literally these are the principles that I've built these things on. But if you go to terrencemurphy.com, just go around the website. You'll see that one brick mentality is all over. I put that on there for me to remind me. So when you're building out this game, we can rush you into buying leads on Zillow and spending all this money, but you're building a business on sand. So what we got to do is just think one brick mentality and grace. That's why if you look at these big structures and these high rises or even a normal house, it takes a lot of time tying in rebar and digging down. Now it's almost like if you ever seen a new builder home be built, you're like, when are they ever going to move forward on that house? Because they're digging down. They're digging into the soil. They're really trying to grab anchors and build out piers. And then they're tying in rebar. And finally, they poured the foundation. And then when you see the sticks go up, like, damn, that house got framed in 3 days. That's where you're at. You're digging in your soil right now. You're doing the deep work. You got to give yourself grace because you're trying to build a foundation, a new foundation. And that's going to take a little time. But if you just be patient with yourself, give yourself grace, once that foundation is poured, you're going to be able to go again. So right now you're slowing down to speed up. So be okay with being in the slow season that you're in. Because God has a plan for you, my boy, but you got to be patient. And then now you're going to speed up and take off. And then you have the course. If I give you anything, just say, okay, every video I'm going to execute what T is saying. I'm not going to progress until this is in place and done. And you're going to look back in 90 days and you're going to say, okay, I have systems now. But see, when you're building your systems, you're not going to have it. And then last thing, celebrate your small wins. If you finish a time blocking schedule, because that was a homework assignment, and then this week you followed your time blocking schedule all week, celebrate that win. Because that win is another brick. And we're doing it one brick at a time. That's what I'm telling y'all. There's nothing sexy about the stuff I'm finna show y'all. There's nothing sexy about it. We're not talking about Lamborghinis. We're not posting Rolex watches. We're not talking about, flying to Dubai. None of that. We're building this thing out with one brick. Nothing sexy about one brick mentality. Nobody want to hear that. Everybody wants to hear get rich quick. Get rich quick, which is why it's called what? Get rich quick schemes. Because they're schemes. We're going to build this one brick, and I guarantee you, when you do it, bro, and just stay the course, now we'll be able to look up in 2 years or 24 months or 36 months and say, man, y'all all are multimillionaires because we did it the slow and the hard way. Now, you do get that because you're a military guy and you understand the grind. But just give yourself grace, bro. You got it. I'm proud of you, man. You're doing great things. When you come in the room in Clubhouse and tell us some of the stuff you're executing, you're doing it. So just focus back on the time blocking and then just focus on, I'm going to build out one lead generation process. Of the 40 on the 4-agent quadrant, I'm just going to focus on one. That's my one brick for this week. That's my one brick for this month. Just one, and sit it down. And then you put another one down in another week. And before you know it, you got half of the house built. But you got to dig that foundation down, or you remember, that's why it's called a brick ledge. I can't put the brick in the air. The brick's got to sit on something. And that brick is called a brick ledge. It's sitting on top of the foundation. But I can't start building up that business and that net worth and that empire unless my foundation is right. So just keep digging, bro.
I appreciate that. For sure.
Keep showing up, dog. And if you need me, you can always hit me one-on-one.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all. Any couple more questions before we go? I want to be.
Hey, this is kind of off kilter from what we've been kind of talking about, just because I'm trying to wrap my mind around something real quick. So I am switching my business bank accounts. I've been with Navy Federal for the longest, but I'm over it already because there's some things I'm looking for, like high interest yielding, different things like that. Do you have or use a bank in mind for business banking that yields high interest?
On like a money market?
Yeah. Like who would you recommend, or who has been successful? Like what has been successful for you?
I don't even consider money markets.
Gotcha.
I don't even think about them because they're I know the banking system and I know what they do with my money when I leave it there.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I move it around so fast.
Gotcha.
They're going to take your hard-earned money and then they're going to find someone like me and give it to me. Then I'm going to take it and go buy real estate with it.
Gotcha.
But in money markets at this point, since 2005, they haven't paid over 1%. So Frost Bank is a really strong Texas bank. It's one of the top Texas banks in our state.
Mm-hmm.
I would consider them. They're pretty strong. But as far as looking at it in the sense I'm going to put my money there and make money off of it, I don't even think about that.
Yeah. I know I'm going to be moving it around, but just like with NAFED, I haven't really had the best business credit success, even though, they had come highly recommended when I started it. And so now I'm just kind of like, I want to get my money out of there so that I can do more with it, and basically keep a more crisp and concise ledger as well when it comes to my money. So I need a really good business bank so that I can set this thing off right. So you're saying Frost would be the best business bank?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And don't put your money in CDs. Don't put them in money markets. That's all a waste of time. What we need to figure out is how do we get your money out, velocity, and put it to work in income producing assets, which is real estate, or buying the businesses. Okay. And I know you can go to bizsell.com. There's so many ways to look up businesses, but let's get this real estate going. And remember, off this cash flow, we're going to go buy businesses. We're going to go buy real estate. That's how we build wealth.
Hey, Timur, I got a question. Let's say we're working with a teammate or an agent that we brought on, and they're not meeting the expectations that you have set forth. How are you pivoting that type of conversation and probably switching them to something different?
They're in my organization or they're on my production team?
Both.
Okay. So what I'd go back to is, have I made it? The biggest thing y'all will realize about any leader that's a real leader or anybody that's truly successful, because there's a lot of successful assholes out there, but there's a lot of successful people who truly built it one brick at a time. And if you really went the long route, the hard way, you're always going to be humble about it. So what I would say to Kara is, you always want to start off with looking in the mirror first. I never approach anybody, including my wife, without looking at myself first. Where I'm like, okay, what about this is on me first? What did I do? So you need to say, okay, have I communicated clear expectations? Have I made it clear on what I'm looking for and what I want? So really just start asking yourself all those hard questions first.
Makes sense.
And then if there's a hole in that where it's like, okay, I haven't communicated what that is, then I need to go sit down and I need to go on it first. Hey guys, I've not done a good job of telling y'all what I'm expecting, but this is what I need from you guys to be on my team. And it ain't no hoopla and a lot of hooping and hollering, like that ain't even how I move. But this is just what it is. I mean, hey man, we in this thing together, whether it's in sports or in life or in business. That's how I approach my kids. This is how I approach my wife. This is how I approach my relationships. It's how I approach business relationships. So just start with that first, and then ask them the questions. Lead with questions. Do you want to be here? Do you want to keep doing what we're doing? No, I'm good. Well, your actions don't show that. So what am I missing? And just truly get to the root problem. And it may just be a communication issue. A lot of times it's the fact that we haven't communicated well.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is our vision aligned. I remember there was people in my brokerage who used to say, Terrence, I don't want to compete. I don't want to be a top agent. I'm okay with doing a couple deals a year. Good for you, but move over there. That's not how I move. If you need me, great, but I want to compete and I'm okay with it. So just make sure y'all's vision are aligned, because they may think that, hey, it's all going perfect. And it's better now to have these hard conversations. Last thing I'll say is this, and then we'll close. The world has flipped the way we're supposed to communicate. The Bible tells us that say the good things behind people's backs and say the constructive criticism and the hard things to their face. That's what the word of God says. I didn't make that up. But the world has flipped it. The world has told us to say the good things to people's face and say the bad things behind their back. And what I've learned is it makes us not want to have these constructive conversations, because this culture has created this. You're not supposed to go to people and talk straight. No, talk straightforward to them. Hey man, this is what I see. This is what because I'd much rather it be that than letting it pile up in my heart. And then now there's resentment. And then when you finally do communicate, somebody blows up, and it don't even need to be all that. So everybody knows me, man. If you're going to be in my life, I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel about every situation, because that keeps me from turning into a monster. That's how I protect myself and them. I'm always going to tell them, hey, this is what I see. But it's always in a constructive way. I've never once got on anybody's ass, even in football. You can go find Sean Warren, who knew me playing football in Little League. I've been the same way. If I bring it up, I always have a solution. hey, bro, you running that route wrong, but when you do this, put your foot here and then do that and you'll win. And I do it in business. So just know that, Takari, if you do bring issues to this person, have some solutions attached.
Yep, sounds like a plan.
There you go. All right, y'all. We good?
Yes, sir.
See y'all soon, man.
Absolutely. See you later. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks,
Y'all
T.
welcome. See y'all.
Hey, y'all.